situations where the source of funds cannot be easily verified. Person say, well, I earned this from
cutting grass,
pumpkin and bhaji, and it might be difficult. It might be difficult to, or I'm a fisherman. So it might be difficult because the pumpkin and bhaji might have been sold and eaten, and the fish might have been caught and so on. I don't need any assistance.
What's wrong with people planting pumpkin and bhaji? Something wrong with people planting pumpkin and bhaji? Mr. Inbert, something wrong with that? I'm proud to be a planter. I'm proud to call myself an Indian and to say I'm a planter, planting pumpkin and bhaji and selling it on the side of the road too. So for people to laugh at me, kick, right? That is what this is all about.
We need to put in a field to plant pumpkin and bhaji. Then you're going to know what it is about.
This is not dirty money. We are doing no robbery. We are doing no ganja, no cocaine. You understand what I'm saying here then? Yeah?
We bhaji people, we don't sell bhaji. And we don't make that. We don't sell the kind of bhaji to make that kind of money them talking about.
Our economy is literally built on the bent backs of pumpkin, bhaji, and pulori vendors and fishermen. This week, the PNM parted the Balize bush and once again showed us their true colors when the finance minister made a most vile and offensive statement, hinting that these self-employed folks who sell bhaji, pumpkin, and pulori and fish to make a living are suspected money launderers. Perhaps we know why the PNM will never truly diversify our economy, because this means they will have to acknowledge it is the independent pumpkin and bhaji farmers who have fought and kept agriculture alive in this country. Fishermen and even entrepreneurs who have turned the humble food of their ancestors into million-dollar businesses that will lead us to prosperity and sustain us. Insecurity and fear lurk in darkness under that Balize bush, and it showed this past week. Truths came to light this week. Another truth that rolled out from under the Balize bush, no longer able to conceal itself after 4 years,
and in the rain people had to stand up,
was the sheer incompetence of the PNM Central Bank Governor, Alvin Hille. In fact, this week, most people realize for the first time in 4 years, there's a man by the name of Alvin Hille running the formerly independent institution that was once critical to our country's economic health. After the puppet central bank governor opened his mouth this week to attempt to defend allowing his bosses, the Minister of Finance and Minister of National Security, to pull his strings and force the conversion of $80 million $100 paper notes into polymer down our throats in 3 weeks during the busy Christmas season, you are left wondering, who the hell is this man and how the hell did this happen? Well, just 4 years ago, Alvin Hille was the deputy governor of the central bank, and he opposed the introduction of the polymer $50 note. A few months after his appointment, he carved out his official role as the puppet governor when he gave the finance minister unfettered access to illegally borrow almost $2 billion held in a blocked account at the central bank. Minister Imbert used these funds to finance the government's widening fiscal deficit. This is the same puppet governor who failed in his statutory duty to protect the interests and rights of CLICO's policyholders and to protect CLICO from politicians when the finance minister told him to sell no man's land, a CLICO asset, to the government to use for the Sandals project. What has happened to no man's land now that the Sandals project is cutted? This is the same puppet governor who failed in his fiduciary duty to protect the Heritage and Stabilization Fund from the finance minister who raided $625 million from our National Rainy Day Savings Fund to pay for vanity capital projects. This is the same puppet governor who said absolutely nothing when the finance minister amended the Central Bank Act to give the minister the legal authority to step into the central bank tower and demand the confidential files of any employee who works there or has ever worked there. At that time, I asked the question, once a creature of politics gets into the central bank's employee records, whether he will stop there. What's next? Now we know what's next. Currency chaos. The puppet's complicity has reached your pockets. The currency commerce over the past week underscores why a central bank was always intended to be independent.
You see, we paying our price for other people wrong. We are the smaller people. There's a few people you're looking at, and you're punishing the whole nation for a few people. Look for these people and punish them, not we.
We business shut right on. It shut up from since the day they announced this. People don't want to do business with we because
they don't want the old $100. They don't
right,
want
people are not doing business with we.
You're going to the fast service and you're putting in your good money and you're dispensing the old money still, which I find is very unfair. When I ask the bank about it, they say the machine cannot read the new notes. But I mean, that is not we fault. That is very definitely not we fault.
The puppet governor has failed to present one single convincing reason for this rushed currency changeover. Instead, given the rambling, convoluted remarks.
I won't say much because I don't know much. The central bank was approached. There are few things that we know on the security front that are in the public domain. There are many things that we don't know, and there are many things that we do not need to know.
This statement does not foster public confidence in the head of a central bank who is clearly devoid of gravitas, authority, and conviction. By law, the central bank is still responsible for issue and management of our nation's currency. We will soon join India as the world's newest example of a country in which demonetization to fight crime failed.
If it is that they change over the money, right, and you go to the bank, you're supposed to be able to get the new ones. What do you think? So basically the system failed already, and it is started.
Alvin Hille effectively failed every single citizen who had to scamper and take time out of their lives to stand in bank lines for lengthy periods. This week was the culmination of 4 years of him failing in his job. Here is a man whose duty is based on public service, but he allows his government to introduce a new bill in a staggeringly stupid way. The hasty introduction of the Polymer 100 has not just ruined Christmas for those people who are still scampering to get the new bills and shop, but sentimentality and business aside, this amateur introduction has led to people being robbed, one man possibly murdered, and the death of a bank employee due to stress. Citizens have paid, and will continue to pay, for the central bank losing its independence to the whims, fancies, and needy egos of politicians. So much for our central bank's mandate to act in service to the public for the good of the people. Hille traded his integrity and the central bank's independence for the perks of the governor's office. Trinidad and Tobago's demonetization exercise will show how this new PNM economic misadventure will further aggravate an already frustrated nation, and why economic policy making should be handled with thought and care, and not left to a 2x2 lawyer in the Ministry of National Security, a failed engineer in the Ministry of Finance, and most of all, a puppet central bank governor. What we witnessed over the past week was not demonetization of a currency, but a government dehumanizing its citizens, and what will become a textbook case of a central bank governor who bowed to government, unable to show an ounce of courage against a government that is continuing its dramatic, vulgar assault against what was once an independent institution. Hille should have stood up to the Minister of National Security and the Finance Minister and told them their harebrained scheme to use a currency changeover to fight crime would fail, and that demonetization has a proven history of failure.
I think it's kind of messy, actually. I don't understand the reason for it at this point in time, and then the short time frame in order for them to have the transfer of the $100 bills, right? I don't understand what is the motive behind it, right? But in my point of view, it doesn't look good.
But I come look at the TV and you just get up just one morning and you just turn over just so.
And so, here we are. In 1 month's time, the money launderers will be washing shiny new polymer 100s. The drug dealers will be continuing to pay for their goods with US dollars. And we will still be no closer to solving the mystery behind the ugly truth of why this rushed polymer changeover was forced onto us. Just 4 years after the unholy alliance of Hiller, Imbert and Rowley did all they could to meddle and sabotage my planned changeover to an entire suite of polymer notes.
Yeah, suppose our change is good, but not all the time changes be good. So that's just my point. I don't like change sign up in the rain with my little daughter.